Every time I decide to sit down and start filming, somebody's outside of my window. Every time. I sat down to film this video earlier and there were two people outside of my window having the loudest conversation ever, and I was like, please shut the fuck up. If you guys missed my video from yesterday, my merch is now available, so I will have it linked down below. I want your guys' help though, because I want to start doing just like regular t-shirts. I want to put catchphrases that I say a lot, but I don't know what things I say a lot. Like, you guys know more than I do. So tell me what you guys like want on t-shirts. I mentioned in the video from yesterday that the first couple pieces I put out, I didn't really want them to be merch. Like, I didn't want it to look like you were wearing somebody's merch. I wanted more simple designs so you guys could wear them all the time and it just be like a normal thing, you know? But I also do want t-shirts that are like me. So help me out. Just let me know what you guys want to see and I will do it. But I'm back and I have more of your guys' paranormal stories that I'm really excited to read. Okay, I know you're all gonna be so excited to hear that I actually got them from Instagram this time. Thank you, thank you. I sat down at my desk, I scrolled through my Instagram DMs, I accepted a shit ton. I didn't realize that it told you guys when I accepted them because it's easier to find them if I accept them. And one of you guys was like, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I was like, fuck, I haven't read it yet. But I just thought it was funny. So I guess if you're on Instagram, you know when I'm gonna read your story because I accept it. But let's get started, shall we? Oh, wait, before we get started, I wanted to show you guys this. So I read a story in my last video about the girl who said that her room always smells like farts, and she thought maybe it was paranormal. But somebody sent me this. It says, a demonic smell is often described as terrible, something rotten or grotesque, perhaps like sulfur or even a corpse. Some say that people possessed by demons also give off this putrid smell. Usually it's the house that seems to have the most trouble. Like, what the fuck? This bitch probably has a demon in her room who's farting on her in her sleep. Just saying. I remember in one of the stories I read too, somebody mentioned that when you feel pressure on your chest, it's a sign of you getting possessed. I wanted to look more into that. I don't know if you guys would want like a whole video on that or if you want me to just like throw it into one of these, but let me know. Because I kind of want to do a shit ton of research on it because I'm interested. Because I've had that feeling myself and it's just, I don't know, it's a very scary thought. So gonna research it. But okay, let's get started. So again, these are all from Instagram, so I will have everybody linked down below. You guys should go check them out. Okay, so this one's from Bree, and she said, warning, long story. This bitch is long. She said, hi Courtney, my name's Bree and I'm from Canada. I've been watching your videos for some time now, more than a year I would say, and I love them. I love you. I'm a believer in the supernatural. I always have been due to the fact that the house I grew up in is 200 plus years old and is haunted as fuck. Also, you're allowed to use my name, Bree Moore. My Instagram's Bree Moore, so I'll have her link down below. So basically, my mom and some relatives have told me what happened to my mom when she was in her early 20s, but she doesn't really like to talk about it because she doesn't believe in it. But honestly, I would fucking die if this happened to me. I'm nervous. So when she was in her early 20s, her aunt was only a couple years older than her, and they both had children the same age before I was born. My aunt and her husband would work late nights and would get my mother to babysit her 2 to 3 year old son and her baby daughter. My mother would be there a lot because it was extra money. At first, it started out small, like hearing dishes move in the kitchen and steps in the hallway. One time, my mother heard the little boy upstairs talking to someone, and my mother was confused because it's late at night and nobody else was there. She came into his room and asked, who are you talking to? And he would say, the little girl. But my mother just thought it was kids being kids with imaginary friends, which was obviously not the case here. The little girl would make the little boy do bad things to his little sister, who was literally just a baby. Fuck this shit. My mom was downstairs and it was around midnight and she had already put the kids to sleep. She heard the baby crying, so she went to get her, and before she could even take one step on the staircase, she literally saw the little girl at the top of the stairs. See ya! Oh my god. She said that she was wearing an old-fashioned nightgown and had long brown hair, but my mother pushed through it and ran up the stairs. You're a brave woman. When she got to the baby, the little boy was shaking her violently, and when the mother took the baby and asked what he was doing, he said, the little girl told me to. Since then, which was 20 plus years ago, the house has been abandoned and still sits on the main street of my town. After hearing the story, me and my friends decided to... I know where this is going and I hate you already for this. Me and my friends decided to walk by it to really look at it, and I literally saw a rocking chair rocking inside the window. She said, sorry for the long story, but I have another one. This is also about my mother and what she experienced. She used to rent this small house literally down the road from where I grew up. She said that the lady who used to live in it fell down the basement stairs and died. So, you know, A1 deal for rent. Anyway, sometimes the toilet seat would go up and down basically all night. Also, when my mother and her boyfriend at the time would argue in the kitchen, the shower curtain would literally fly off the rail and be thrown into the kitchen at them. Like, it was like, shut the fuck up. That's all I have. I have some small things that have happened at my house where I grew up. Let me know if you want to hear them. I always want to hear them. Always. Jesus, is your mom okay? Is your, would it be your cousin? Is your cousin okay? Both of them? Okay, this one's from Jada. Well, I just realized I've never told anybody this except like 2 people. When I was about 8 or 9, I lived in a house with just me and my dad. It was a decent sized house, too big for the 2 of us. But that's irrelevant. Whenever you walked into the house, there was a little hallway on the left and the garage door on the right. My bedroom was at the end of the little hall, and I had a huge window in my room that looked out into the yard covered with tall grass and a massive rose bush up against the window. Very descriptive. One night, after a long day of working, I plopped into my bed. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention I see shit all the time. Just a minor detail. I'm 14, going to be 15 in September, and this was my first experience seeing these things. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, I was 8 and I had a vivid imagination, but I knew damn well this wasn't my imagination. I saw it standing in the window, a tall, big, solid black shadow. I closed my eyes tight, tears streaming down my face and my heart racing. After about a minute or so of clenching my eyes shut, I opened them wide and it was gone. It wasn't a person. There was no way it was. My neighborhood was sketchy, but not the stalker kind. I brushed that awful experience off my shoulder like I did everything else, and lucky me, it happened again. Lucky you, it happened again but a year later, and instead of it being in my window, it was in my bathroom mirror. After I took my shower, I was looking in the mirror admiring myself because why not? And I looked down to put toothpaste on my toothbrush. I looked back into the mirror. I don't want to know. I looked up into the mirror and boom, there it was. I could see it better this time. I didn't pussy out and close my eyes. I looked it straight in its ugly blackened eyes and I saw this grin spread across its face and it smashed my face into the mirror. What? After the mirror shattering, I woke up, laying on the ground in the bathroom, and I was fine. It felt all too real. My nose hurt, but everything was intact. No broken mirror, smashed face. I was perfectly fine. You lost me. What the fuck just happened? I also may have peed myself. I opened the door and ran to my room, jumped on my bed shaking, and I didn't sleep for a few nights after that. And it's like everything went back to normal for a few years. Now we're in present day. I'm 14 thinking everything was over. Actually, I hadn't thought about anything that had happened in that house for a long time, till last night. We went camping Sunday and last night was the last night of camping. We were eating popcorn and reading ghost stories when all of a sudden I saw it. But it was different this time. It wasn't as big and it just stood there looking directly at me. Its eyes. Fuck, I remember this one detail so vividly. They weren't black, but they were bright yellow. Brighter than my future kind of yellow. I sat there frozen and I was absolutely fucking terrified. I saw it coming closer to me. With each breath I took, it got closer, and then all of a sudden I blinked once more and it was gone. I got up and walked casually to the bathroom and acted like nothing happened. How? I tried to play it cool and shit, like maybe somebody is also going to the bathroom, but I glanced over my shoulder and saw no one. Shocker. I sped up my pace and finally got to the bathroom. I walked in and no one was in there. I went to wash my hands and those piercing fucking yellow eyes started looking at me, and then I felt something hit me and it was gone. I then looked at my arm and there was a small scratch. Once I saw it disappear, I got on my knees and prayed. Like, what else are you supposed to do? Laugh? I would literally just like die. I think I would actually die out of fear. I don't pray very often, nor do I attend church as much as I used to, but I didn't know what to do. After last night, I haven't seen anything, but I'm sick of this bitch messing with me. But I'm home now and I've never experienced anything living with my mom. I forgot to mention I now live with my mom. Also not important, but whatever. I still haven't said anything to anybody because I don't think they'll believe me, so you're all that knows. But nothing has happened since last night. Y'all are getting more crazy. Your stories are getting scarier and I'm not okay with it. I'm shocked that there are this many terrifying stories. Like, where did you people find me? Okay, this one's about a night terror, but it sounds absolutely insane, so I'm gonna read it to you guys. This is from Melissa. She said, I'll start with something more recent. This happened early this morning. All right. Cool. She said, I woke up extremely weak and moving really slow, not able to sit up or much less lift any part of my body as I feel extremely heavy, like I'm literally weight sinking into the bed, a weight thrown into the water. This is so well written that it's more terrifying. This was so real, but was it? I don't know. Maybe it's my messed up mind playing horrible messed up tricks on me. It was me, my friend Laura, and some young boy, no older than 13, that she knew. We were in her kitchen talking. It was her kitchen, but not the exact layout, but I knew where I was. I knew it was her kitchen, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, that happens to me all the time. Like, I'll have a dream about somebody's house or a place, and I'll know it's that place, but it'll be like a little bit off. You know? Yeah, I know what you mean. She was standing to the left of her sink, and I wasn't anywhere near it. The soap bottle fell into the sink, and she looked at me and just said, the soap just fell, Alyssa. So for some stupid odd reason, I stepped closer while still carrying on our conversation. Something that was on the bar behind me flew into the sink. Laura freaked out. Alyssa, that just flew from behind you into the sink. She was standing in the corner of her bar by the sink, and for some reason I sat in a chair in front of her with my back to her. Something is with you, Alyssa. Something is pushing you in the chair against me. By the time I realized what was going on, Laura said, Alyssa, you're floating. Don't let go of my hand. And I was legit floating. I was in the air. I was being picked up by something I couldn't see. I squeezed Laura's hand so tight and told her not to let go no matter what, and I felt pulling. It wasn't Laura and it wasn't this boy. It was whatever had me. I started demanding and screaming, in the name of Jesus Christ, put me down. I repeated it over and over, begging Laura and this little boy to also repeat it. I could feel myself being yanked around and I could hear it scream from, oh God, this is terrifying. I don't even care that it's just a dream. I could hear it screaming, fighting to keep a hold of me. I gotta go. Next thing I know, I wake up, sweating, hard to breathe, weak, extremely weak. I tried sitting up and I can't. I can't lift my legs, arms, head, nothing. I grabbed my phone, I keep it right next to my pillow, and I texted Laura asking her if she's okay or if she had a weird dream. It's now 1:19 a.m. I still feel extremely heavy and really weak and nauseous. I haven't heard anything from Laura yet, but I'm sure she's asleep. I'm not sure what just happened. Usually I have the same weird dream. I'm sleeping and I wake up to a tall black figure at my door, and it makes its way to the foot of my bed. It grabs my ankles and starts pulling, trying to pull me off my bed. I always say a prayer and then I wake up, out of breath, cold sweats, weak, and my legs are always sore. She said, I'm sorry this is so long. If you want to hear more stories, let me know. I always want to hear more stories. Stop asking. You guys just know exactly how to scare the shit out of me, don't ya? Don't ya? Okay, this is the last one I'm gonna read. Okay, they said, I've been living with my grandparents since a very young age, and in their house there's one specific room that just creeps me and my friends out. The room is to the right of the stairway, while my now current room is to the left of it. The first known memory I have of that room is when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I remember sitting in the living room watching cartoons when I heard the door to that room open and then slam shut. I looked up the stairs to see some weird opaque shadow with red eyes emerging down the stairwell, 0 to 100. Some weird opaque shadow with red eyes emerging down the stairwell, but then randomly just fade away when it reached about the 5th step. I passed it off as just my imagination because I've never heard about a shadow person having eyes like that. The next memory I have is when I was awake one night watching a Disney movie with the volume down low at around what I'd say to be 10 p.m. when I started hearing heavy breathing next to me. I froze in shock, not knowing what to do. I convinced my eyes to look to the sides, half expecting some demon to claw my eyes out, but there was nothing there. I thought maybe I was just tired and imagining it and went to bed not long after. Later on in the year, my little sister had moved in with us and shared the room with me. Later that night when we were trying to sleep, I heard the heavy breathing once again. I thought it might be my sister, so I asked why she's breathing like that, and she told me it wasn't her. That's when we both started freaking out and crying. Soon after, my mom had woken up and walked across to our room to check on us, and the breathing had stopped. My grandma decided to come upstairs and sleep in the room with us. I never heard the breathing again. A few years later, I was around 11 or 12. I remember being asleep, and probably around 7 or 8 a.m. I got awoken by someone pushing me and calling my name. I opened my eyes and saw 2 of my cousins staring at me. Less than a second later, they ran around my bed to the door and ran out. I swear I heard them running down the stairs. It took me a moment to process it, and when I did, I got up and went out to the now open door. I called for my granddad and asked if my cousins were there, and he said they weren't. I don't know if you guys will remember this. I told this story a really long time ago, but my sister was having a sleepover with one of her friends, and in the middle of the night, my brother knocked on her door and opened the door, and she was like, what do you need? My brother wasn't home. I don't know why I'm clapping so much in this video, but whatever. My brother was not home, but he was standing in her door. Standing in her doorway. Not home. That shit fucks me up. A few years later, when I was 14, I moved into the den that was connected to the room. I always keep the door to the room locked without a doubt. One night, I swear on my life, I heard the knob jiggling and the door creak open. I held my breath as I heard light footsteps lead to my mattress, and I swear to you, I felt eyes boring into my back. I fell asleep. How did you fall asleep? I fell asleep soon after and woke up in the morning to find the door still locked. I'm now 15, and I moved into the room left of the stairway. I haven't really had any more experiences, but up until I put my dream catcher above me, I'd wake up at 3 or 3:30 in the morning and continuously wake up after that every night from nightmares for months. And then she messaged me again, and she was like, hey, it's literally a fucking week later, but I remembered another story or two. So in my current bedroom a few years ago, I was watching something on YouTube. The light to my closet was on, and so was my TV. When I had looked up from my phone, I shit you not, I had seen four shadow figures. 4. I had been used to this paranormal stuff happening, and nothing had ever tried hurting me, so I decided to call out, would you like to sit next to me and watch? Yeah, well, one of the fucking figures moved and sat next to my fucking head, and I could see where the bed had dipped, and I gotta go. I was low-key screaming, but yeah. On another note, one time during the night I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't have toilet paper in mine, so I went down the stairs to use the one in the laundry room. I went down the stairs and through the kitchen to the bathroom, and after doing what I needed, I started heading back, but when I went back through the kitchen, I saw a very tall shadow with something in its hands, and I kept walking. I finally processed what I had seen and stopped, but when I went backwards to look through the door, there was nothing there. I just fucking yeeted up the stairs to my bedroom again and went to bed. How do you guys go to sleep after this? I feel like half your stories are like, I just closed my eyes and went to bed, and I'm like, I would never sleep ever again. You guys are so casual about the things that happen to you. You're like, I saw 4 shadows, and then one of them sat next to me. We watched a movie together. Like, what? No. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any other paranormal stories, I will have the email written down below. Please send it to that. No more Twitter, no more Instagram. I'm gonna take stories from them, but like old stories, not new stories, okay? And again, I'll have my merch link down below if you guys are interested. Self-plug. But I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. It's flat.